Hello, this is Rob from TranscribeMeeting.com. In this video, we'll learn how to record your meeting using GoToMeeting's built-in recording feature, save it as a standard MP4 video, then have it transcribed with screenshots, timestamps, and speaker attributions. The process should actually start about 5 minutes before your official meeting start time. So we'll launch our meeting titled How to Record and Transcribe a Meeting. And we'll use this time before the other attendees sign in to do a sound check, just to make sure that the audio is coming out where it should and that the microphone is recording the one that we want and that the levels appear okay. So we're using a Bluetooth or a USB headset here. The other part that we'll want to check are the recording settings. You'll see down here in the bottom of the screen, this is the button we'll use to record the meeting eventually. Off to the side is the little gear for the settings. We want to use GoToMeeting's integrated audio almost universally. If you have a need to use something else, you'll know and you'll take care of that. GoToMeeting records in a proprietary GoToMeeting format. We want to convert that automatically at the end to an MP4 video format. And you can also change the default location that GoToMeeting will save the recording and the chat transcript to. Here, we'll leave it as is. So the most important step beyond that, once your meeting starts, is to actually start recording. And again, it's down here, this button. It's easy to forget that in the heat of the moment. It helps to have a checklist. And if you'd like to use ours, you can download it at TranscribeMeeting.com, checklist. Next, once everyone is on the line, is to briefly introduce yourselves, especially if there are many people, first meeting, multiple locations. So it just makes it easier for everyone to follow a conversation. It helps people to feel more connected to the people on the other end. And it, in the future when you're referring back to the recording or you're using it to create a transcript, it just makes it easier and more useful for that purpose. The other thing I like to do, especially if it's a first meeting with a client, I actually like to switch on my webcam just briefly. I don't ask them to do it, but it just builds a little bit of rapport that can go a long ways into making a stronger connection throughout the meeting. But I turn that off. The next step is to actually start sharing your screen, start sharing something. You'll notice that the control here has what's called an audience view. And you can see right now the only thing that's showing is this little title card for the meeting. That's because I haven't started sharing anything or made someone else the presenter to share. We want to actually start sharing the screen, and you can see now that that shows up in the audience view. The other important aspect to that is we want to make that as useful as possible. You'll notice if my window is not maximized, although it may look fine to me, it looks pretty terrible to the other people viewing remotely. And it's surprising how many people forget this simple step to actually maximize that window. And there are also further options you can take, such as making a window full screen. On Windows, it's F11. You go full screen, you lose the title bars, the menu bars. Makes it a little more useful. If you're using presentation software, is actually to switch to presentation mode. Again, it can be surprising how many people forget to do this, and don't be shy. If somebody else is not doing it, just gently remind them, even if it's the customer. It's just for everyone's benefit. Next very nice feature for just meetings in general and also for creating a meeting record and having it transcribed is to use the chat window for sharing links and other information, names, books referenced, that it's easy to say, hard to remember sometimes. So GoToMeeting will actually save this in a chat transcript, and it can be saved, used to generate minutes, used in follow-ups, and it can be supplied for the transcription process to get a more complete transcript. And that's brings us to the next step, just ending the meeting and actually converting the recording to MP4. So when all is done, we're going to just say end the meeting for everyone, yes. See, the most recent meeting is checked. You can verify the format. You have the choice of WMV or MP4. MP4 is much more universal. Convert the recording. This is going to take place in the background. 7 seconds to go. You can see in the folder where they're saved that it initially starts as a G2M format, which is that proprietary format. But as this completes, that'll become an MP4. So we have the MP4 recording and the RTF rich text format version of the chat log. So the next step is to visit TranscribeMeeting and tell us a little bit about yourself. Need to know the duration of the meeting. And the easiest way to find that out is to just start playing it. You can see that it's 4 minutes, 3 seconds. So just round down to the nearest minute. 4 minutes, we'd like it in 24 hours or less. Fill in the CAPTCHA. Brings us to the next step where we will either upload the file or share a link to it. So we have the option of, if our file is saved on Dropbox, Google Drive, or something else, we can paste a link to it there, or we can upload the file. Start with the chat log, then continue with the recording itself. Provide a little more information that will help. It will be used in the transcript, such as the meeting name, the meeting date, and the names of the speakers. Again, this will help in the speaker attribution, get a little more accurate and get correct spelling. There may be other names, products, companies, internal project names that get referenced that may be hard for the transcriptionist to interpret. You can include those here. And then acronyms, jargon, and other uncommon terminology that might be specific to your business or your industry. Again, including it here will just help to get that accurate and detailed transcription. And then we fill out the last CAPTCHA. And your order has been submitted. Your final transcript will look a little bit like this, with the meeting name and the date, other information that you supplied in the header or footer, full transcript, speaker attribution, screenshots and timestamps every 2 minutes so that you can jump quickly to any point of interest in the meeting. So finishing up, you'll want to run through your pre-flight checklist, start the recording, make your introductions, start sharing your screen and maximize whatever is on it. Use the chat window to capture links and other text-based information. Save the recording as an MP4 file and then have it transcribed at TranscribeMeeting.com. And if you would like a copy of our online meeting success checklist, just visit TranscribeMeeting.com/checklist.